In this module, we're going to talk about the tools related to instrument development, and we're going to start with reliability and validity. Any survey, questionnaire, inventory, test, or battery used to collect the data from individuals is considered an instrument. The instruments can be designed to collect factual or observable information about people's demographics, environment, habits, preferences, etc., or obtain indicators of unobservable or latent constructs, such as perceptions, satisfactions, or psychological traits. Any instrument used to collect the data should be examined for its quality. The quality assurance of the instrument involves examination and establishment of two characteristics, its reliability and validity. The other names for reliability are dependability, consistency, reproducibility, accuracy, integrity, and stability. Basically, reliability is a property of the instrument to measure the construct of interest in a consistent manner. Validity is the property of the instrument to measure the declared construct of interest. You can think of these two characteristics as applied to any measurement instrument. For example, the body temperature can be measured by thermometer. We know that when we have fever, thermometer shows higher numbers. Therefore, we can assume it is measuring temperature. A reliable thermometer will show you the same number if you use it multiple times in short intervals of few minutes applied to the same part of the body. There are different types of reliability. The test-retest reliability ensures that the data collected with the instrument is consistent between multiple occasions. Basically, it means that the scores on the instrument should not depend on the time of the day, week, season when it's used. In order to establish this kind of reliability, the participants should complete the instrument twice at two different occasions. The scores obtained from the instrument on the two occasions should be highly correlated. Sometimes, for security reasons, more than one form of the instrument needs to be developed. This is a common situation in high-stakes testing for licensing and admission purposes. In this case, it is important to ensure that different forms of the instrument have similar properties and can be used alternatively. To collect the data for this type of reliability, the same group of participants takes both forms of the instrument at the same occasion. The two types of reliability mentioned above can be examined simultaneously with each participant completing both forms of the instrument at two occasions. When the instrument requires subjective assignment of the scores based on observations, narratives, or other types of non-numeric data, inter-rater reliability needs to be established. In this case, scoring rubrics are developed to establish the rules for scoring, and the raters or observers are trained to use them. If the training and the scoring rubrics are reliable, then it should not matter which rater is using the instrument. Finally, the instruments are often designed with the intent to summarize the scores from individual questions to some total score. In this case, it is important to establish the internal consistency of the instrument. This type of reliability provides evidence that the total score reflects responses to individual questions. Reliability of an instrument can be affected by external factors not related to the instrument itself, but rather to its administration. Therefore, piloting and field testing of the instruments should be carefully planned and implemented to prevent from the impact of these factors. For example, reliability of the instrument is lower for homogeneous groups of individuals with very similar characteristics. In contrast, reliability can be artificially inflated when respondents are not given enough time to answer the questions. Longer instruments consisting of larger number of questions are naturally more reliable. In general, it is recommended to have at least 4 questions per scale if total scores planned to be computed. There are many aspects related to instrument validity. We're going to focus only on major 3 of them. Content validity is related to representativeness of the questions included in the instrument of all possible questions that can be asked to measure the construct of interest. Usually, in order to establish this type of validity, the panel of experts gathers together and reviews the content of the questions. Criterion-related validity has to deal with the question of how well the scores on the instrument relate to an outcome of interest or predicted. In order to establish this type of validity, the measurable outcome has to be available and the scores from the instrument should be highly correlated to it. Finally, construct validity is established through investigation of the individual questions on the instrument and their intercorrelations with each other. This investigation involves statistical analyses as well as non-statistical procedures, such as interpretation of the scores, relevance of them for the purpose of the study, and likely social consequences of using the instrument.